beautiful people. Welcome to the evolution of underwear, a series where we are going to dive deep into the hidden layers of what we wear under what we wear. And this is episode 1. In this series, we are talking about the origins of underwear, how ancient cultures wrapped up hygiene, modesty, and survival. Welcome to my channel. I am Oluwagbemisola Julihanna Akinlade-Ogaji, a public health practitioner and an entrepreneur, your wellness advocate, of course, for everything underneath. Today, we're going to be going way back in time to the very beginnings of underwear. Even before the lace, before we have silk, before we have cotton, before we have seamless, before we even have brand tags, you know, we are going to talk about how humans first started wrapping up themselves, covering themselves, and protecting their intimate parts for survival, of course, not for style. It's going to be very entertaining and very intriguing, very educating. Stay with us as we journey down through the series of the evolution of underwear from function to the fashion we have now today. In the beginning, I mean, in the real beginning, underwear was not about lace, not about curtain, not about silk, not even about seduction, not even about beauty. It's about survival. Long before we had bras that are push-ups, padded, non-padded, long before we even had briefs that came with different designs, polka dots, plain, half cuts, and all of that. The early humans, they just needed protection. A strip of cloth, a patch of leather, animal skin, just something, anything they can lay their hands upon to guard their most sensitive areas from dust, from sweat, from chafing, and it's just, let's just say, from discomfort generally. Archaeologists, they discovered woven linen and leather lion clothes in the prehistoric Egypt. That was not fashion statement at all. Oh no. These wraps that was discovered by the archaeologists were purposeful. They were the things that kept things clean and cool in the Egypt's ash desert heat. We all know that the Egypt has a very kind of very ash desert heat. The Egyptians by themselves, they were the linen masters. Even their poor laborers, they were wrapped in something basic lining. Those days, it was called the shentik. The pharaohs, they were wrapped so royalty, royally, Someone like King Tukatahum, mm, I was not there, who was buried with over 145 lion clothes. undergarments. In fact, I can say that undergarments were sacred, literally. And talking about King Tut, that was buried over with over 145 lion clothes. That's like saying, talk about packing for the afterlife. Now, remember that we are going through the journey of underwear. Let's move to the west, the ancient Greece, where the human form was revered, sometimes a bit too freely. The Greek men and women, what they wore was large stitched clothes that was called chitons, and underneath them, they also wrapped a simple cloth around their waists to cover up their intimate areas. The athletes, the Olympians, as at back then, there was something called a perizoma. How can I describe a perizoma for you today in this world? Okay, picture it like a very, very ancient kind of G string that is just basically for practicality, not for Instagram, not for TikTok. The Greek women, they bound their chests with strophions, broad lining. There was support, there was modesty, but still there was no fashion. Let's go to Rome. Ha. The Romans that we know, they are the innovators of every, the roads, the aqueducts, even the jockstrap, surprisingly. The Romans are the innovators. They wore what we call the subligaculum. How do we explain that? Think about it as an ancient underwear short, just like a short. If you have seen the movie Gladiators, the gladiators fought in what we call the subligaculum. Their laborers in Rome, they also wore it. Even their senators, they wore it even under their own togas. It was simple, functional, and tied to perfection. Even their upper class women were not left out. They wore soft bandeaus under their gowns because form and function were not mutually exclusive, not then, well, not still now, though. So you can see, from Egypt's sandy wraps to the Greece draped clothes and to the Rome sturdy straps, the early underwear wasn't trying to be cute at all. It was utilitarian, a layer for defense, a fabric of dignity. Even today, whether you're a nurse, an athlete, or just a mom that is chasing her toddlers around the house, your underwear works so hard for you. That function is still the foundation of underwear. Now let's fast forward to the Middle Ages. Women wore simple lining chemise under their gowns. It's not also for flair, but it's to help keep their dress very clean. And then we came to the 1500s. Hey, and that way I don't tell. And let me tell you, at this time, fashion got serious. We have stiffened bodies, bone laced corsets, and bodies shaped like hammer. Are we going to war? This weren't undergarments. These were battle strategies to flatten the bust, to cinch the waist, mostly to sacrifice their breath for beauty, according to them. Down to the 1800s, where the Victorian women, hey, they wore up to like 5 to 7 layers every single day. My gender. Wait, make I ask you. Can you layer like that in this generation? They are chemise, drawers, they have stockings, they have corsets, they have corset cover, they have crinoline, they have petticoats before they will finally wear their dress. Hmm. Imagine going to the toilet with all of that fabric here pressed. Oh, wait. They also had split crotch drawers for that because practicality had to squeeze in somewhere. Now, just imagine that you want to go to ease yourself with all of those layers. Ah, that's work. But there was a cost. Tight laced corsets begin to bend their ribs. It squashed their lungs and caused fainting spells around that generation. Doctors begin to warn women that they were literally killing themselves for fashion. Victorian beauty came with bruised ribs, shallow breaths, and then that phrase, beauty is pain. It was very, very real in that time. It was a very real daily reality. But thankfully, after the First World War, women began to loosen up. Literally, they threw out their corsets and they embraced the bloomers, the bras. Ultimately, they embraced freedom. Today, underwear is a blend of function and fashion. We choose what supports us, what expresses us, and protects us. But it all began with a loincloth in the sand. Are you amazed? I was amazed when I stumbled upon it as well. And that's why I said I have to bring this to the awareness of my Debzin family. This is more than in fabric. I mean, the underwear. It's a legacy, a layered history of survival, dignity, and self expression that is woven into every thread. Did you enjoy the journey that we took from all of those ancient times? Okay, in the next episode, we're going to be going deep down into how it actually came from function to fashion. At Debs& Concepts, we don't just sell underwears. We celebrate the story behind it because we understand that what touches your skin should honor your body. It should honor your history and ultimately honor your wellness. Have you found this video very educating? Very intriguing? Don't forget to like, comment. Let's have this conversation. Are you aware of it? Do you even know how underwear came to be? Do you know how we got to bras? How we had bralettes? How we had panties? How we had tongues? Do you know? Let's share in the comment section. Subscribe for more on how your intimate wellness meets elegance and history. Thank you for joining me today on this episode as we look forward to the second episode. See you then.